Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
What up, y'all? It's Joe Budden, here to talk about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money while watching football. You can get up to 100 times your money.
Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Just download the Prize Picks app and use code SPOTIFY. That's code SPOTIFY on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Hello.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Welcome to But Am I Wrong, starring two people who have not once ever in their lives been even close to wrong. We've never even straddled the line of wrong. We've never blown an air kiss to wrong. We've been so far distant from being wrong that we're mere little dots, little specks so far away. And because of that, it is our duty. Nay, I say, fuck. I was going to use that in my thing later. I wrote nay. And now you're going to know that it was all planned. It is our duty, civic. And what's the opposite of civic? Moral? No. Civic and
It's our civic
accord.
duty and moral responsibility.
Oh, okay. Do you have my joke? Accord. No, they're both Hondas, right? Fuck. What's the other one?
Yeah.
Toyota. I can't think of another one. Well, we're basically here to entertain you simultaneously while talking shit about celebrities, pop culture, current events, ranting and venting about things we feel passionately about or shit going on in our own lives. And then we are also reading submissions from you about the things going on in your lives and telling you if you are the hero or the villain in your story. So the show's broken up into those 3 segments with, sorry, hiccuped and burped. I had one of your moments. I had one of those little, life just came at me. And we will get into each of those segments before they occur, but we should introduce ourselves. My name is Megan.
And my name's Melissa.
And we're pretty great.
If
Right?
we say so ourselves. Oh, I do want to read something that somebody sent. They wrote about us.
They wrote about us.
Mm-hmm.
Where?
In an email.
Okay. I'm ready for it. You can also, if you want to watch the video version of this podcast and see me shake the camera a little bit, you can head on over to our Patreon. It's a great time over there. And I promise I will begin to look more awake. I got new allergy medication. So
What'd
shout
you
out to
get?
everyone who recommended Allegra. And there's a lot of people who are saying, who work in the medical field, who are like, switch it up. Every once in a while, like if you start to feel like it's not working, next time you buy a bottle, buy something else and like don't cycle back to the one that stopped working for you for a while. And everyone kept recommending Flonase. But again, there is not a fucking like shot in hell that I'm sniffing it up my nose. But that's also because that's
You're
not
supposed to sniff.
well, just I don't like shooting anything up my nose, but I also don't want anyone who takes Flonase to be like, oh, but like if you have to in order to breathe, like my allergies, like they drive me crazy, but I'm not like, I know people who have so much fucking worse allergies than me, who I'm like, if I had their allergies, if you told me I had to like spread my cheeks to the sun every day, I'd be like, okay, whatever.
I would love to sun chug every day.
I know you would. That's going to be when we get our houses next to each other, we're going to make sure there's one side's got really hot wall. So you can do that.
It's
I'm gonna
got to
see
be
it.
because I need my outdoor shower
Yep.
and to sun chug. You know I love an outdoor shower.
I know you do.
All right. This is, I'm not going to say who it's from. It says, thank you. Eminem, thank you so much for your podcast. My partner left me suddenly after 12 years, a house purchase, a cat, and a dog. I was in a good mental health place before, and I'll be okay again eventually. But right now, things are rough. but I can play your podcast when I'm home alone and feel like there are friends in the room with me. Thank you so much. There's not enough words to explain how grateful I am.
Oh my gosh. Well, we are a friend to you. And as a friend, I say, why is this person still breathing? As a friend, I say, is there anything else I can do for you?
What else can we do?
What else can we do? Oh my God. I don't know what phase you're in right now, but as two people who have been through some shit, we can both confidently say there is nothing more cathartic, but you do need to watch yourself because we have both injured ourselves this way. There's nothing more cathartic when you're going through it, a punching bag. Oh my God. Oh, we've had instructors being like, you girls good? We're like, we're going through something. Like, oh my God, I cannot. But that's awful and horrific. And I'm telling you right now, that person is going to be plagued by shitty things for the rest of their lives until they become a different person. That's just, I'm so sorry. But please let us know what else can we do.
But thank you for listening. And I'm glad we can give you something, but let us know what else.
Yeah, please. Fuck people. Well, to pivot to something happy, because hey, we're going to give you a good episode. One of our favorite parts about this podcast is we love our opinions and we love to talk about our opinions, but we also want to hear what you have to say. So for every segment in this episode, we do polls on Instagram. So for each episode, it will say, who do you think was wrong? And you get to vote on which side you land on. And you can always message us. Not always, but like I say that like if you want to, we love when you do. Like we prefer if you vote and then you say why you voted the way you did, what you feel about it. If you felt the same way, you feel differently, personal experience, anything like that. And then we read those results on Fisting Friday, which is our Friday episode. So tomorrow you can hear results from last week's episode. And then, hopefully soon, you'll be able to vote in this week's episode.
Correct. Very correct. Good job, Megan.
Thank you.
I want to say that Apple Podcast has updated the app, and it's so much prettier now. And it gives us the different graphics that we have.
We've got a fan in the present. They must be knowing. Because who else cares besides us?
Right. Who else is changing their little icon as much as we are?
Who else made different icons for all of the different shows that they put on what? Who else is trying to become their own television network on a single feed?
Right.
Well, the sad thing about recording virtually, besides me not being able to have some of the brisket that you made, is that I did save podcasts to listen to on my drive that I was so excited for. And now I guess
tomorrow. I guess you're in the car with somebody.
I mean, he'll listen to it. We tend to be more music. The issue is if I listen to a podcast when I'm passenger princess,
I'm going to sleep.
That girl is getting rocked to sleep so fucking fast. Like I can't keep my eyes open. It's like if you put me in a seat that moved in the movie theater, it does not matter what I'm seeing. I'm fucking asleep. I am.
Rockabye baby.
Oh my God. I've fallen asleep in many a movie theater that was static, like a not moving seat. But that's when I'm really tired or the movie is really boring. But oh my God,
has the other blonde in my life.
Which
Catherine
movies?
Falls asleep all the time.
Cars or movies?
Doesn't matter. Car, movie, in the house.
Okay, well that is she's just bragging now. I wish mine was like if someone could take me on like a drive around the neighborhood like a baby, like I would sleep so much better. Be so nice. I would love that.
Okay. Well, should we get into our first segment? I go first.
Okay.
All right. Now it's time for But Am I Wrong? Our first segment where we share something from our personal life, or it can be a rant or things that are just weighing heavy on our hearts that we would like to talk about. All right. I'm up first, and I would like to say a hot take. May not be hot to you. I think you'd agree with me, but
That's how we work.
I think the saying, if he wanted to, he would, is bad advice.
I don't innately disagree.
There's this girl on Twitter who posted, her name is Classy Freddie Blassie, which I don't think that's her real name. I don't know where that came from, but her username itself is Meghan the BAIW. I don't know what
Valium?
either of these things. EVALIUM, like Meghan the Valium. Yeah.
That like Valium.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
On Twitter, she posted on September 29th saying, a follower flew to Chicago to take me to a dinner. A first in Blassie history, and certainly a fine reminder that if he wanted to, he would. And then 4 days ago, she posted, I had to file a police report against him the following day because he spammed me with over 60 calls, texts, and voicemails and threatened to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, do not meet followers.
No.
Unless you are mutual fans of each other. And even then, I need you to be in a public place with tons of people around and just know that's a safety
non-sexual
issue.
or romantic setting.
Yeah, yes, like this is not safe to begin with, but Jesus Christ, that I read that and I was so angry. Not just at him, but at her too.
No, when I saw the follow-up tweet, I was like, I'm not glad, but I'm happy that it took this to get to the realization, not something much
worse,
darker, because it's like we all knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm. And so I think there is some good behind the saying, and I think that's how it originated, but then people started taking it to a level that it shouldn't be at, because I think the good part of it is that people are being helpful and they're trying to say, like, if you're in a bad relationship and a man wanted to put in the effort, then he would. But then people started to overgeneralize it to things like this. Like if he wanted to go on a date with me, he would fly. I don't know where he came from, but he'd fly to come see me and take me to dinner. And it goes back to like in the, I don't know what years this were, but past years where it was like, he's just not into you. It's like that same type of thing. And I think like, you know, sometimes people, they might be an introvert and they don't know how to like, or they've never been in like a romantic situation before, and they've got like anxiety and they don't know how to verbally communicate. They might be like a little socially awkward, and it just like makes things too simple, and simplifying it and oversimplifying it. And it's like, yes, if you're in a shitty relationship, yes, if he wanted to, he would. But like, do not use this in the sense of an early relationship when you're still trying to get to know someone and they're not like calling you every day, or like you're not waking up to like a good morning, beautiful type text message. That is toxic. But, you know, if he wanted to take you out to dinner, he may not initially be forthright that that's what he wants, but like he might get to know you and then take you out later. But we do not use this in a way that's stalkery. If he wanted to, he would bring you flowers in the middle of the night and sing you a song outside your window. Like, that's not romantic. It's stalkery in early stages of dating. So be careful what you see, what you hear, how you receive people in your life, because some things are just weird and it's not actually romantic. It's toxic, it's love bombing. That's the end of my thoughts.
I fully agree with that. As somebody who has been on the other end of, wow, this is so romantic. It is only romantic when you think they're hot. And then you learn hot people are terrifying too. Like there's this idea that it's like, oh no, like, yes, if someone I wasn't attracted to did all of these things, it'd be really creepy. But if someone I was attracted to did all these things, it wouldn't be. The behavior is the same. The behavior is the same, regardless of how you feel about the person, whatever it is. So like, there's nothing that like Mott's does that is, okay, like not sexual, because at that point, that's not consent if you're not into the person. But like, you know, being helpful, like doing those things. Like there's nothing that he does that like, if someone else did, I would be like, oh, that's terrifying. Like, no, that's not how it should be at all. And the other two questions I wrote down is, who is he? Because this whole thing, if he wanted to, he would. This is a fan that you don't know. This is not like a he, an ambiguous he. You need to, I think it only applies when you're in a relationship with someone or a situationship with someone and you are asking verbally for what your needs are, and they are verbally or non-verbally, like action based, shutting those down and not meeting your needs. And if he wanted to, he would, means that if he knows your needs, he would want to meet your needs. That's the goal. He wants to meet your needs. He doesn't anticipate your needs. Some he might understand, some he might know, but like you communicate your needs. And if he wanted to meet your needs, he would meet your needs. But this whole like, this can't be like an ambiguous he. It has to be a specific person, because otherwise, yeah, then you have behavior that like, if he wanted to take you out, he would. Okay. Someone that you like, someone you have a crush on, that you want to take you out, and like a boyfriend to have nice dates, someone who you've never met who is a fan of you. And I think a lot of the issue is like we take these like relationship goals and we like boil them down into like these like 7-second TikTok clips that don't have context and they don't have the history there. And people have these ideas of what they want this to be. And they don't realize like either A, these things aren't real, they're fake. So we're creating this idea of like, oh, my man just did this, this, and this. And it's like, okay, cool. Like A, maybe that never happened. Or B, it did, but like, you know, you've been together for all of these years. You've asked for this. You had rough times. You had all of this stuff. And so then people start having these expectations of things that they're so transparent. And like you said, like there's no warm up to them. They just happen immediately, which is not the kind of, I think, is not a healthy amount of attention and effort to put into someone who you don't know. Like that is, I will always find that unsettling and creepy. Because you don't know, how do you know that you like me that much? You don't. Right. Like, you have an idea of me and like, I don't like that because you don't know me. So this is like no knock to her at all when I'm saying that thing. I just mean,
because I think it literally could be anyone. You get swept up in what you think should be right.
Yeah. And I just mean in the sense that like her initial tweet, there are so many other fucking tweets that are just like that with none of the follow-up. So I'm so glad that she did the follow-up. And if you don't see the follow-up there in other circumstances, it doesn't mean that the follow-up it doesn't mean that that didn't happen. Like it's not a safe thing. And recognizing that, I think is real. And I'm really glad that she posted that publicly, because there's no reason for it. Like it's not, but like a lot of people feel embarrassment and shame about that kind of stuff when it's literally not our fault at all.
Right. All right. You're up. Will Slugger.
Thanks. So my hot take is more of a pitch.
Okay.
And I'm a part of SAG. So I want to make this abundantly clear that what I am pitching is non-scripted for a non-scripted network with no writers, because this is about the characters that people truly are.
Okay.
And I think, and I know this is a bold claim, I think I have solved the problem of the alt-right. I have a solution.
Oh gosh. Okay, Megan.
I think I've said this to you offline before. And it's one single sentence. Give politicians reality shows. We need to give them reality shows because they just want to be famous. It's the Trump effect, but flip it and reverse it. We're going back. Instead of ending up in politics from reality TV, we are starting the political platforms, and we need to be using this as casting material. We need to be seeing and saying, no, you know what? Let's put you, I will take these people on billboards over them passing bills and passing legislation. Some people say stop making stupid people famous. I say nay. Don't make stupid people politicians. Make those people reality stars. Go back to what reality TV used to be. Bad people doing bad things in places that they weren't, I don't know where they were. This was far away, but I say we should add in another component. We give them, these are man-made. We are not taking anybody's land because already done far too much of that. We give them, all the trash we throw into the ocean. You know how they built a Target on one where I grew up? So those places, they become these little islands where they can go, and we give them their own little fake countries, little fake towns to run. And then we give them a whole show about how they are running them. I am not kidding when I say I would legitimately put my tax dollars to this because I consider it harm reduction. If we get them out of there and we give them all of the fame and the notoriety they want, and they can spew that shit and they can see themselves full glam, a baked under eye, some glitter wings, and they see themselves on a New York Times digital billboard so they can take a little Instagram picture of it. That is fine as long as there's no amount of reproductive rights that you have any say in.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
You're going to send their followers with them too?
Yeah, yes, but here's the thing that we will then be able to keep a running list of the people who are following them. And the crux of it, though, is, they cannot be political on their shows. So they can be an asshole, they can do whatever they want to do, but they cannot encourage people to vote for specific things or do any of those things. They can endorse candidates. They can't do any of that. Similar to, I'm pretty sure, pageants. You can't endorse specific candidates. Can't do any of that. And in conclusion, we need to treat these politicians like the iPad children they are. These are grown-up iPad kids. And instead of an iPad kid, tell me why my phone is dictating this entire thing. Stop. Instead of an iPad, it's a confessional camera. There's a little booth in there. They talk. They don't even need to be. And if we want it, and if it was successful, which I know it would be, we can give them the reality shows where then they're all in a house together. I just think there's so much opportunity for this to give these people what they really want instead of what they're saying they want. That's hurting all of us.
Because they want power too. So where does that come in?
They don't know what power means. They want to be famous and they want to be rich and they want people to know their face and their name. And so in all of that, because they're not even speaking full sentences when they're working. Like that aspect of it. They're there for the in-between sit-down interviews. They're there to just fucking plow through an attempt at a monologue. But hey, if you gave them a little acting challenge, if you had this hosted by Tyra and they had to do photo shoots, you just
don't put that on Tyra.
No, not a Tyra, not Tyra, but a kind of.
It should be Sarah Palin.
That's a wonderful call. Mm-hmm. And I just think that reality TV transforms people. Does it make them better people? I don't know. But we have seen the absolute hell that people were put through on different kinds of reality TV. And we all talk about this person signed up for a reality TV show. They're clearly, a different kind of person. And I don't know why we're coming up with all of these really ridiculous things of like, oh, MILF Manor, where the moms date all of their sons' friends. Like, why are we doing that? When instead, we could be watching Lauren Boebert one day do a wipeout course. The next day, clean shit out of a stable. She's in a Simple Life vibe.
But she's a pipe layer, so she can also be out. That's that show where what's it called when the bosses come in?
Horrible Bosses.
Whatever that is. That's a movie though. That's not it.
Undercover Boss.
Undercover Boss. Where she goes and lays pipe for their island.
And the season finale, getting groped to Beetlejuice. Like, we've seen these shows. We know how this works. You get that footage for yourself. Like, come on. And also, you can have an influencer brand deal. You want to sell fit tea? Go for it. I don't give a shit.
Sell the My Pillows? He'll be happy to sponsor.
You want to sell those Goya beans? Fucking sell them. Sell them. Have fun with that. But take off that pantsuit and get out of the fucking Capitol.
I like that.
Thank you. I genuinely think it would solve so much.
We could workshop a lot. But my thing is, it's the fans. There's so many of them. So then if we ship them off with them, then it just becomes its own governing body.
No, but I don't think we ship the fans off with them. I think.
So what do we do about the ones that are here?
They just join reality TV subreddits.
Okay.
Like, you've seen
but then what
rabid
if they
fans
get
of shows.
Empowered to run?
Because the kicker is they get these multi-year deals. Well, yeah, once you get these multi-year deals, they can't. Again, I told you, they're living on the trash islands.
No, so, I'm talking about the ones that are the fans, and then they're like watching the show.
They can't be political on their show. That's the key. Like, they get all the fame and the notoriety, but they cannot offer political takes or anything of that nature that would incite people to vote for X, Y, and Z or to advocate for X, Y, and Z. Like, we're going back to the age of reality TV where they go, we don't know what politics are. Remember that age?
I don't. Because Omarosa has always been there and she was in the White House.
Think of shows like, there's definitely writers. Well, no, you're not on strike anymore. Actually, were they hired as actors? They might have been hired as actors. But, some of those old shows on the 3-letter network that is mostly, that also played music videos. For a lot of those ones where it's like, I want to be made into this for a day. Like, I want to do it's your birthday party for a coming of age, specific age that there's a Hillary Duff song for. Those ones, those were like shitty people being shitty, and nothing about them being shitty was ever discussed with their politics. Like, it was just like, this is Brad. He's cheated on every girlfriend he's ever had. Like, let us know if you want to date him.
I had a friend on Nix.
Fun. But you want to, like, that kind of stuff. When you get into the houses and you get into the psychological warfare and games between people, that's why I say we cannot do something that is like a house with all of them until there's enough time and space between the other House of Representatives and the Senate that they've been in together. Like, we cannot empower them together like that. Right now, this is like Lauren Boebert, her creepy husband, if he wants to be on it, the Beetlejuice other person. And then if any of the actors of Beetlejuice would like to participate, if SAG, if we get our needs met.
Broadway show.
But some of them are also, I mean, I don't know on that one, but some Broadway actors are also in the film
but
and TV
if it's
union.
a reality one, then you can go on it. That doesn't break the rule.
Oh, I just meant if they wanted them to reenact any of their performances or anything
then
like that.
would turn it into a SAG performance. I got
So I'm saying if that would be the they could wanted to.
It was off Broadway too. It was a Colorado production.
I think it was touring. But yeah, I'm like, I think that we've seen so much that this is all a performance. Give them a bigger stage.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean a channel in the double digits.
Okay.
So
I see it. I see your vision.
Me too. And then crossovers, put them on a yacht, have everybody make fun of them. Like, and also here's the thing, you go on reality TV, you're going to get bullied so goddamn fucking hard. And sometimes when you bully someone with bad behavior, they either change or they shut up.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that. And scene. That's my pitch. Let me know what you think, sharks. We are going to take a quick break and then we'll be back with our next segment. And we're back. And it's time for our next segment, which is But Are You Wrong? Where you, our listeners and our watchers, you submit the thing that is happening in your life that you would like our insight on if we think you are in the wrong, would be in the wrong, were in the wrong. And you can send that over to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. Keep it under 300 words. Let us know your age, pronouns if you would like. And it's all anonymous. So come up with some pseudonyms, aliases for the people involved. And we will do our best to, we might not give you the answer you want, but we'll be honest.
All right. First up. So I have some gay/queer friends. Let's call them Sean and Cody.
What?
Sean Cody is a popular gay porn site.
I was thinking this is from a TV show, and I was trying to figure out which one.
Nope.
Okay.
So we hanging out one night, being gay, and Cody then asked for sex advice since they're now single and ready to have a hot girl summer. Better late than never. And Sean and I came up with a few ideas, like going to sex parties or do it at a hotel room because for some reason it's a lot better than at home. Like, let me do it on the table. However, Sean then said, fuck a straight man, which I have a what the fuck face. And before I said anything, Cody said, oh, I already did that. Sean then said, oh, same, dope. Then they...
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Both laughed together. However, here I am looking down on the floor thinking how he talked about sucking dick and cock. What? Did I skip a line?
That's a Tati Westbrook about James Charles, like sucking dick and cock at my birthday dinner. It's
okay.
It's a phrasing of being like, oh my God, these people are talking about such lewd things in my poor ears.
Okay, let me see if I can do a better read on this then. Thank you for the direction.
You're welcome. And action.
Then they both laugh. However, here I am looking down on the floor, thinking how he talked about sucking dick and cock at her birthday dinner. it then got worse. How they love tricking straight men and sucking their dicks and loving DL men because it hits different from bi and gay or queer people on Grindr. Again, I'm like, huh? I'm constantly seeing on gay Twitter how some gays like to trick straight men, and I'm always confused by that. Like, y'all can't find anyone from your own community? Is it really that hard for them? Am I wrong for thinking it's weird for them to go after straight men for their own pleasure? Well, my argument is, are they really straight?
And that is a sentence that has been in my head.
Because I've been hit on by lesbian women, and not once was I like, come eat my pussy. Like, I'm a straight woman and I'm not attracted to any women. So, like, where's the tricking coming from? Like, when your pant is being unbuckled, there's just a lot of steps to get to there. So I don't understand where the tricking actually is. Maybe they appear to be straight, but they're actually not.
Yeah, I wonder if like the phrasing of this is just like, you know, that like it seems like this is something that is, like you said, you've seen this on TikTok and they're talking about it like personal experience wise. So the tricking aspect, you know, might be more of the phrasing of an inside joke, because yeah, if you break it down, like Melissa said, like it's not tricking in that sense. Because my other question would be like, it doesn't seem like your red flags are up. That like this was non-consensual, because like that's what tricking in my would you would think in that sense. But I think that like as when it comes to like someone saying like them saying that like, oh, it's different than they love tricking them, it's because it hits different. It's like illicit things, kind of similar to how you said like having sex in a hotel. There's something just about like when people think something's forbidden or something is, you know, like this is not what it's supposed to be, or like you can just create a fanfic in your head to that. That can be fun, and also can be like, depending on the people, like in a avoidant attachment style where it's like not really ready to date or want anything serious. And so going for people who you know are very much not looking for anything continual or public or whatever that is. Like it is like, you know, there's something there that like, you know what you're going to get out of it. But I don't think it's like, I think the phrasing of it is like a little jarring in the sense that like the wording of it can feel icky. So I think like, I don't think that you're wrong for kind of like not liking that concept, but I also don't think that they're wrong for that either, you know? But I also like, I'm a straight woman. So I think that I'm a straight cis woman. So like, I don't think that, what I say is anywhere relevant to any of that. But some people also go through phases of like, of things. And, you know, I know people who went through phases of dating people who are exponentially older than them, people who are right now, so far, I have no friends who dated anyone way younger than them. But I was gonna say though, like I had a friend who tried to date someone or like was talking to someone way younger, and I literally took their phone. I was like, disgusting, like literally disgusting. We're not fucking doing this. And I was like, what are you thinking? And they're like, I actually don't know what I'm thinking. I'm like, perfect. So like, let's not. But people can go through phases and like you actively seek out romantic and sexual relationships with people based on like what you're looking to get out of it. So, you know, I think like if you're in like a relationship phase, seeing people do that, it just feels like, are you kidding? But it's because I don't think they want to date right now. And so it's not like they're not dating within their own community. And so I mean that like they're not looking for that. And
I do want to clarify just for anybody that's listening, Megan wasn't saying phases as in like being gay is a phase. That's not what she meant. Just
thank you. That didn't even connect in my head.
I know what you meant, but newer people may not know what Yeah. But it's also like a kink. Like there's a whole section on websites where it's like tricked a straight guy into having sex where they're not actually straight, but like it's like a kink, like they're straight seeming, or like it's like they might have a girlfriend but they're actually bi or somewhere in there, and so it's like it's a thing. So I don't think what they're saying is outlandish because there's like people are into this. This is like something that's pretty normal.
Yeah. DL is a preference, and it's also very okay. Like the same way that some people preferences, it can give you the ick. Like it can be like the exact opposite of what you want. But it doesn't mean that one is right or wrong. It's just a matter of like what you want at the time. So I have more of an issue with DL men who harm the community and people who are not, consenting to that in that way, versus people who are within the community knowing that, this is what they're into, and they with other people who are also into it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also just be like, this is just not the conversation for me.
Right.
Okay.
You're
My
up
turn.
next.
I'm a 34 female who works in a male-dominated industry. Yikes. I've had my fair share of misogyny from colleagues, mostly outside of my organization, over the past 9 years here, and I generally feel like I can handle those situations on my own. We've recently partnered with another company. I was introduced to their team when they visited our location. This introduction of 6+ people lasted 10 seconds. Honestly, you don't need any longer than that, as I'll only deal with these people over email. One of them regularly, as our departments line up, and this gentleman is... Okay, I need people...
I think it's like a ...
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But I need people to... I need someone to let me know what kind of fine they mean. Because initially I was like...
Could be like,
hottie?
Yeah.
I immediately read it as fine. And no, you just meant decent.
With a shrug.
Yeah. And this one is fine. He's okay. He does have a coworker who is their sales manager. I do not regularly deal with him. The sales manager has now referred to me as sweetheart on 3 separate occasions. I've ignored it each time and answered his questions. We have zero rapport. I could not pick this man out of a lineup. Today, I'm freshly back from a vacation and feeling zestier. I need to start using that word. I got a call from my boss regarding this partnership this morning, and at the end, brought this sweetheart comment. And at the end, I brought this sweetheart comment up to him. I mentioned I don't know how to address this man who I don't know, clearly doesn't know me, and don't want to cause any issues in the overall relationship between our company and theirs. My boss immediately told me he would handle it, which, knowing him, can be scary. My boss is a large man of the boomer generation who can get loud and it can be intimidating. Should I do the right thing by going to my boss, or should I have handled it directly? I'm afraid my boss's reaction could have been over the top, but I wouldn't have known how to approach this other man via email. Thanks for your input. No, that was great. And I think that if you're worried your boss is going to do too much, it's not too much because it's your boss. And he makes a call if it's too much or too little.
Mm-hmm. Like, you do what you feel comfortable with and what is going to be safest and going to keep you having your job, which you did. You took it to your boss and he's going to handle it. And doesn't matter how he goes about that, as long as it gets done. And other man made you feel a certain type of way. And why should you protect his feelings? He didn't care about yours. So he'll get what's coming for him. And your boss probably isn't doing enough.
Yeah.
TBH.
Mm-hmm. I hate this. And also, like, any way that you handle sexual harassment, indecency, inappropriateness, like in the workplace is fine. I'm telling you, any woman who is, any person who's facing that, but like specifically in male-dominated fields, women, I'm like, the person on the receiving end of it, however you handle that is the right fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care. I don't care if it's a misdemeanor. You did the right thing. Like, it is just like, no. So you did not do too much or too little. And I'm not going to applaud your boss for doing what he's supposed to do. But I would make sure that you keep that in the back of your mind too, that like you're not indebted to your boss for this. Like someone did something that they didn't have to do, which made your boss have to do something. Like it was not an option for him. And he doesn't want to be in that position either. And none of you would have been here if Sweetheart Man didn't do that. I hate them.
Well, we're going to take another break. And when we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
And we're back, and it's time for But Are They Wrong, where we nominate a person, place, or thing, something in pop culture, current event, zeitgeist, who is doing the worst. Not like, oh, they're down in the dumps, but like, I would like to throw them in a dump. Who would you like to nominate, Melissa?
Since we're on the theme of sexism, I would like to nominate men in STEM.
Oh, God.
So every year there's this tech conference for women and non-binary people in STEM called the Grace Hopper Celebration. Side note, all the women that were speakers, all baddies. I implore everyone to go look at the website because I'm like, okay, even Janelle Monáe was there.
And I bet they were a nice ass outfit.
Yeah. The event is specifically aimed at helping women and non-binary people in technology to network with recruiters as well as attend panels. Well, apparently, a lot of cisgendered men falsely signed up as non-binary people. Not only that, but they skipped all the panels and seminars in order to beat women to the recruiting lines. And while cisgendered men are not prohibited from going to this event or attending it because they've done so for years, they saw Anita B., the company that organized the seminar, said that men came out in higher numbers this year by skirting the rules. So their impact officer, Cullen White, said in a statement, yesterday it became clear that there are a far greater number of cisgender men attending than anticipated. Simply put, some of you lied when you registered. And as evidenced by the stacks and stacks of resumes you're passing out, you did so because you thought you could come here and take space and try to get a job. White noted that the cisgendered men also took discounted academic tickets for the event, as well as interview slots that were supposed to go to women and actual non-binary attendees, who, as in a lot of fields, are the minorities in STEM fields. And noting that some of the cisgendered men shoved and physically hurt other attendees in the rush to the job booths. And one person noted that the problem is competition is not fair for everyone. That's why a women's conference exists, to level the playing field, because women are highly discriminated against in tech. If they had a career fair for military veterans, but civilians who have never served in the military crashed it, would you be okay with that?
As someone who is not in STEM, I tend to use my, I might look scrawny, but I'm fucking scrappy. And I don't use my brain. I will use my brawn. I will, let me in. I will run fucking interference. This, it pissed me off so much. So fucking much. Because, even a singular conference doesn't even the playing field. So, you can't even have an ounce of that. You're so used to having every space be for you that the second that there's one fraction of one weekend that is not for you, you cannot stand it and you have to go there and be there. And do you not realize that actually makes you look worse?
Right.
Does not make you look
especially
desirable.
To people that you're going there specifically to get hired by a company. So.
Yeah. If I was the organization, I would keep tabs on the other companies to see if they hired any of those men.
Yeah.
Speaking of hating men, I would like to nominate
it keeps going.
a terrible man. And this is I'm gonna give a trigger warning for school shootings and gun violence. Nominate Jon Ramono, who at 16 years old Mm-hmm. At 16 years old, he was a school shooter at Columbia High School in Greenbush in New York, which the shooting wounded a teacher and terrified and traumatized a bunch of fucking students there. He was convicted to 20 years in prison and served for 17. And now that he is out, he is starting his career as a TikToker and an influencer, which ironically, or not so ironically, is making his whole platform school shooting prevention. And that might seem like, oh, okay. And I want to give a huge disclaimer. I'm a huge fan of rehabilitation. I am like a big fucking proponent and fan of that. And one of the biggest questions that people will say when I say that, they're like, well, what about rapists? And I'm like, well, the justice system doesn't do anything for rapists. So like, we're not in a society where people who physically harm other people, our society does not scorn that or cast that off or view that as something horrible and awful and negative. So there is no reforming that in our current society. So I'm all for reform. And in theory, in a world where school shootings didn't continually happen and we had fixed the issue, which is specifically white men and white supremacy as the root cause of these continued school shootings, not mental health. Not that would be something where, oh, you could see someone who is rehabilitated doing those things. And also, you don't do them for profit, nor do you do them front facing. So he has been quoted saying, my goal is not redemption for the school shooting, which redemption is a very fucking weird word to use. My goal is prevention of other school shootings. That's why I'm here. That's why I share. And someone, a teacher, a parent, and a TikTok user named You Can Call Me Kate posted a video talking about their experience as an educator and saying that there are people who are never going to feel safe again because of him. And that should not be allowed. And he should not be allowed to have this platform to speak on. And they were a teacher and they stopped teaching and then moved to like private and then teaching out of the home because they were so terrified of that being like using their body as a shield for elementary school kids, like traumatized by that. And those are people who are here, like to this day, like there are still people, countless people who have lost their lives, family members who have lost people, but the people who have survived these things live with the trauma of this every single day. So he responded to the backlash saying, despite the current backlash I'm receiving, which I completely understand, I also continue to get a lot of people reaching out to me, thanking me for what I do. Some of them are the parents, teachers, and even students who are frustrated with the lack of change. I believe I can help save lives. The centering of himself in this is giving school shooter. It is giving like this man is living out that, it gives me similar vibes to the book 13 Reasons Why, where one of the biggest critiques of this is like, this is something where it's like, this is viewing as very cathartic, essentially, as someone who is faced with all of these horrible mental health issues and these things in their life and has all of this anger and emotion towards different people. They end up dying by suicide. And then there are all these tapes, and then they get to essentially, as the viewer, you're like watching from above. Like all you don't get that, and so this whole thing, you are now making.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Not only do kids want to be influencers, kids feel influenced by school shooters who aren't having platforms, aren't having these accounts. And suddenly you can make yourself the fucking like, I am a god. Like I am the ultimate one to come to. Like it's being even creepier than that, because most of the kids, I mean, not most of them, but kids who commit the school, like you're making a different entry point to become an influencer. So if they start a school shooting, well, you know, either I die or I can become an influencer. So he has over 250,000 followers on TikTok. And he said that, like, he acknowledges that these things are very traumatizing, but as if he is not re-traumatizing to people, that like a face of a school shooter popping up there. And he said that he like, oh, I went there to die. I didn't went there to go there to like hurt anyone. And it's like, no, that's not, that cannot, you can, sure, your frontal lobes are not fully developed. And you can say now with the insight that you have as you're older, that you think that that was maybe a cry for help and you wanted your life to end, but you did not want to end your own life. You wanted someone else to end it. But that does not mean that that negates any of the harm that you did and the impact that was caused. What your intention or not, your intention there had a fuck ton of casualties. And just because no one died does not mean that the people who survived that and teachers, parents, family, like live with that trauma and then have to see your fucking face on their For You page. Oh, and so one of his most popular videos on TikTok, he gave his take on how teachers can help students who are struggling mentally. He said that while he wasn't seriously injured physically, I know that mentally countless others were traumatized and still suffer to this day 20 years later because of me. Oh my God. So why the fuck are you on there? That to me is like sadistic and like, oh, you're still getting off on the terror that you're wreaking on these people. Like you're still getting off on the fact that you have all this power over traumatized people by knowing that your face can just pop up at any time. So he does not address at all the issue of the white males and white supremacy being the driving cause behind any of this. He just keeps talking about mental health specifically for white men. And then we go into, talks a lot about the aftermath of his life when he was attacked at a homeless shelter he was working at in 2022. So it was a black man who was wielding swords, and that was in 2022. And his thesis of that was essentially people can be racist towards white people, and saying that the man who attacked him was black and called him the quote unquote white devil, and focuses then there entirely on race rather than mental health, which is completely contradictory to what he says he's doing there. So he's comfortable speaking about race in terms of violence when it comes to a black man, but not when it comes to white men being school shooters. Then it's about mental health. Then we need help with mental health. But we're not talking about mental health or grace for any of that when you are on the other side of that. And that man is facing more prison time than he ever fucking did. It just, literally makes me so fucking pissed. And as of now, his comments are still turned off. And he said, I weighed out if my speaking publicly would help more people than it would hurt, but I know my sharing my story hurts people, but I do believe I am helping. I think that is fucking nasty. Like, I just think that there's, like if you committed some horrendous crime, regardless of what it is, if you're so truly reformed in this and you've been able to do this, first of all, I do not believe you can be reformed as a school shooter in this sense, because our society and our community does not view school like it's so fucking normal and it happens all the goddamn fucking time. But like you do that quietly behind the fucking scenes.
And he also didn't get any counseling. Like he hasn't gone to a therapist, or like even part of his release, he wasn't required to seek a therapist. So he hasn't been even in the sense of how we define rehabilitation, he hasn't been rehabilitated.
No, he sat in a cell and presumably hung out with white supremacists and all of his other shit. Like jail and prison also doesn't work. So like that jail and prison is not rehabilitation. Like that in itself is, if you go once, you're more likely to go again. Either because the juries and cops and lawyers and the system will look at a rap sheet and go, okay, you've been there once, you can go there again. Or you have so much shit that you've gone through, you've done or whatever, and you are not getting the adequate physical and mental health help that you need, nor any sort of like, you're coping with alcohol or whatever. There are so many worse things that then shit gets worse. Shit gets worse. Like addiction. That's why I don't think people who are addicted to things should be going to addictions get worse. That doesn't work for everyone. There's so many things that can get so much worse there because like Melissa said, there's nothing rehabilitating about that process. So that in itself is not like, I'm a changed person. No. Do I think you need to rehabilitate if you robbed a bank? No. You robbed it. If there's no one's harmed, you're not hurting anyone. If you embezzled some money, do I think you need to rehabilitate from embezzling money from the government? There are different things here based on who you have hurt and who you have traumatized. You have traumatized children, teachers, parents, students, the ones who are at the school that you were at, the ones in the town who have heard about this, and then people fucking everywhere who have been traumatized by school shootings, regardless if you were the one who committed that act or not. So like, if you truly want to do something and you want to do all of that, donate your brain to science. Donate your goddamn fucking brain to science. Go to intensive therapy. Meet with Moms Against Guns. Meet with all of those organizations about that, and write your legislator, like talk about bills you would like to get passed, like do all of those things. Do that fucking hard, grueling work behind the scenes. You are not going to get paid for that. I don't think you should be able to profit off of crimes you've committed where there was harm done. And shut the fuck up.
Also, didn't he lie and say that he just went in and like shot in the air? And that's not actually what happened?
Yep. He's repainting the whole story, and then really framing himself as a victim in the fight that he got into. And with, again, 2 grown adults versus a 16-year-old at a school where there are children. And you have a gun. So, yeah, it makes me like really fucking pissed off. And I really wish there was more. I think like we as a country are like really afraid to talk about rehabilitation because it makes us realize that the systems in place don't rehabilitate, and we don't have things in place to do that. And that things like, especially when it comes to things like sexual assault and domestic violence, like our society is okay with that. And so even if you went through all the rehabilitation programs, like as a country, we don't uphold those expectations of people. And so I think we don't talk about it enough. And so I worry that there is like a sect of Gen Z who views this as rehabilitation when it's not, because he's using those kinds of words. And it makes me mad because, the whole like send someone to like lock him in jail and throw away the key is very much a right-wing mentality. And that is not my mentality either. But like when people critique someone profiting off of this, it's like, well, don't we want rehabilitation? It's like, that's not what this is. And we don't talk about what rehabilitation really is enough because it's daunting and we don't have it. Like, we don't have it for violent crimes. So, makes me mad.
Yeah.
Fuck this man.
That was going to be mine. But I was like, I don't think I can mentally get into this, right? Like do all the research for it, but you did it wonderfully.
Thank you. I just get so fucking pissed.
That's the end of our episode. Thank you all for listening. Do you have anything you'd like to share? You opened your mouth, so I wasn't sure.
Can't keep this trap closed.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what they call me on the streets. I don't think I have anything else to say. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you want us to talk about something coming up, you can always tag us in it, send it to us. Like we always say, if you're going to send it first and then write down like a little summary of it if there's any trigger warnings, so we don't just open to something startling. But yeah, I think that's it. Boo.
All right. Well, thank you, Megan, for being here.
Thank you, Melissa, for being here.
Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.
We'll circle back. But Am I Wrong is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
And production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Laureau, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth. Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.